What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dylan Talks Tone. Welcome to the Q&A for this week of questions that we took in from Patreon and from YouTube members tonight, as well as the ones that you put in the chat over right here. So put those in there. It's an ad-free live stream. As usual, if you want to use a super chat to get bumped to the top of the list, you can do that. We'll try to answer your question or acknowledge your super chat in some way as soon as we can. Also, you can support the channel by going to Dylan Talks Tone, buy pickups, buy hats. This is a really cool hat right here that we make. And what else? There's all kinds of stuff over there. Pick up parts. If you make pickups, guitars, there's whole guitars over there. Yeah, so that's basically it. And you can also use the links in the description and support the channel that way too. Here we go. This is us doing stuff. We're going to talk about why I don't think quality control should ever matter, despite the price difference in a guitar, despite anything. So we're going to take some questions from Patreon. I think the first question is what triggered me to put this in this episode. If you have a super chat and you want to butt in, we'll drop what we're doing and answer it. Otherwise, let's rock and roll. And get your questions in too. She'll try to catch them as we go.
Shane, I think that Just As Good As group are referring to their guitar's tone and playability and not so much its aesthetics and durability. At what price point do you feel a premium guitar benefits are mostly cosmetic or durability compared to better playability and tone?
Okay. So the Just As Good As group are referring to guitar's tone and playability. Let's address that first. Yes, I agree. I think you're right. Because I think the Just As Good As guys don't allow art or passion or anything to be part of their guitar playing, and it's all friggin' technical. Because, well, that's just as this guitar with binding on it. Well, yeah, the binding didn't jump on there by itself. Like, that costs money. So, and it's cool, right? So we'll get to the cosmetic thing in a minute. But I think a lot of those guys are just like, they want value for money. And they want the guitar to be a guitar. But they also want it to be awesome. But they don't want to pay for awesome. So now they just take a guitar that's mediocre and then compare it to a just as good as something else that has more stuff on it. That's where that whole concept comes from. Because the more you value intangible things about your tool for art, the less you're going to have this conversation and the more value you're going to see in more premium products. That's just kind of the way it works. And that's different for everybody. It could be different reason for everybody. So the second part of this, let's see, aesthetics and durability. At what point do you feel that a premium guitar benefits are mostly cosmetic or durability compared to playability and tone? Okay. This is where we get into, and you can take that down if you want. This is where we get into, I think, that the quality of a guitar in its basic form, cost should not matter. So a $200 guitar, this $139 Strat that I bought on Amazon last week, that guitar, it needed a setup, but it was good. Like, it worked and everything is fine. That should matter no more or less, no matter how much the guitar costs. You should get a functioning product where everything works and it all makes sense and it's good. Like, it's got to be good. Now, where people would say that well, the more I pay for the guitar, the more I expect. Disagree. You should expect whatever price point that you get a guitar at or any product to be what it's supposed to be. Like, it should be a functioning, like, if I'm a kid and I buy a Squier and I come home and it's got a scratch in it, I don't go, well, Yeah, but it's okay. Or maybe there's a bunch of buffing marks in it or something. You're like, yeah, it's okay though, because it's a $250 guitar. No, you're a kid. You're going to be mad. You're going to be like, I bought this shiny new guitar and it wasn't shiny. So what I'm saying is that doesn't matter. Like none of that stuff matters. It all should be good. It should work. And if it's not, send it back, period. 100%. Whether it's $5,000 or if it's $200, you should just have a good product. It should be a well executed product. And I don't think there should be any allowance for cost. Now, as a guitar gets more expensive, okay, then there are more features to worry about. So now you put binding on a guitar and you have to make sure that the binding is good, right? And you have to make sure it's smooth and you have to make sure that it's scraped right. And you have to, all those things need to be right. And then if you put, you know, I don't know, let's say like, any kind of finish thing. It's got to be the good. It has to be the best version of what that thing is as you add stuff on, and that quality thing should never waver. It should always be that good. Now, when we start to get into cosmetic, and this is the way I feel about it. Right now in the United States in 2025. It takes $2,500 to get an American-made, high-quality guitar. And what I mean by that is a standard Les Paul. Well, that's about three. A standard Les Paul, a standard Telecaster, which to me is an American Vintage 2. I think that is really what the standard Telecaster should be. That is the basic guitar. That's the thing that has all of the right components on it. That's the thing that has all of the quality fretwork as far as like the materials. And I think so then anything above like an American Vintage 2, in my opinion, now you're just adding more stuff on it that is premium features that people may or may not appreciate. But I think every person who is honest with themselves, if they go and play my AVR 2 right now, my American Vintage 2 right now, you're going to go, this is what a Telecaster should be. End of story. And even if you're a Squire guy, I don't care what you can or are willing to afford. It doesn't matter. If you have a Fender Squire right now and you come and play that guitar, or anybody's, I'm just saying that I have one and I would let you play it. You would go, yeah, this is what a Telecaster should be. The things that has better than a budget guitar is obviously quality of hardware. It has all of your, the better fret wire, better wood selection. And I don't care if you don't think about that as a tone thing. It doesn't matter. It's not made out of 5 pieces of leftover countertop. Okay. So I think at that, whatever the standard is for the brand, I think that's where your standard is. That's why they call it that. And so then anything less is you're going to be giving up stuff from that point. And anything above that, I think you're going to get more fluffy stuff and more cool things and sparkly this and, extra that. Zeba, get out of his food. Zeba. So I think that's what it is. I think it's that point where guitars get fluffy. But the thing is, it doesn't matter, because if it's what you want, then it's what you pay for. If you want, hey buddy, if you want super sparkly stuff and it costs $5,000, then get it. It doesn't matter. I don't think the feature purpose on the guitar has the feature purpose of something on a guitar. I don't think it has any bearing on, let me say, whether it should be on the guitar or not has no bearing on anything. If you want it and that's the way they made it, then you buy it. That's it. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. There's probably a bunch of comments about this.
No.
No?
Not really.
Okay. Well, let's go on to the next question, and I'm sure this will come up as we keep talking about it.
I mean, there's a few if you want them.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Not a bunch,
Yeah, let's
as
do it.
you said. Aunt B says you can argue that PRS are durable and playable, but to me they are purely aesthetic art pieces for dentists. Ty Grail says I've bought every range of price guitars and only been disappointed a few times with name brands. Don Joe, like Don spelled like John. Don Joe instead of John Doe. 706. So maybe they're here.
Maybe they're here.
Hope everyone is doing well. And thank you, Dylan, for great topics.
Thank you.
B. Noyles, what do you think of the Ultra Telecaster?
They're a great guitar if you want the more modern thing and noiseless pickups. I'm not a noiseless fan. So I would still own that guitar, but I would rip everything out and put my stuff in it. But those are great guitars.
Yeah, and Vinny's World responded to his questions. He said, I was just typing. I'm more of an Am Pro series person, but I think it's the same point. Once you get into that price range, it just comes down to what features you like.
Yeah, and especially with Fenders, that's how you kind of have to buy them, right? Like, well, this model comes with this bridge. I don't want that bridge. Okay, that's how I ended up with the American Vintage too, because I went through because I wanted an American one. And all of them that I went through, I was like, well, this one's got modern tuners and but a vintage bridge, and this one's got this and this. And I was like, I want a real Telecaster, like a proper 60s style Telecaster. And that was the only way to get it. So that's why I got it.
Smart Alex says the Strat standard from the early 2000s seemed to be of better quality.
I disagree. The stuff they're making now is better. It really is.
Don Joe 706 says he is from this area, I assume.
Nice. Tell us generally, you don't have to like give me a street address or anything, but I'd be curious to know where you are in the 706 generally.
I mean, he must know we're in it too, since we said he must be here. So, Andrew Lashley says, I have guitars from $200 to $1,200. My $200 Squire Strat and $800 Epiphone Les Paul are the best.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I like that.
You want to go to the next one?
Yeah, let's go to the next question, and then we'll let some pile up. How about that?
Shane again. Or do we have more than one?
No,
Shane?
it's the same.
Okay.
It's the same Shane.
Shane, good evening, lovely Desley and dashing Lylan.
Oh my gosh. He's trying to mix it up.
Presently, I only have one signature model, a Dave Mustaine V. When Dave went to Gibson, people called it the biggest change the Flying V ever had, with 24 frets, 6 inline headstock, and the removal of the pickguard. Mustaine says he removed the pickguard because he found top routings lacked sustain and has a tinny tone compared to a more solid body. Do you agree with him? How much should we trust what artists say about tone?
Not at all.
Did he get paid to say that?
Okay. You can take that down because since it blocks us up so bad.
A ball.
Yep. We'll talk about this too on and off, I'm sure, throughout the night. And I got the general idea of the question. I think that I don't think you trust anybody about their tone at all. As far as like the signature model of the thing, I'll tell you what really got me on this was sitting. I'll say now who I was at John Cruz's place in Tennessee, and he brought out all of the prototypes of his custom shop stuff. So it was like Gary Moore, Jimmy Vaughn, Stevie Ray Vaughan. There's a whole bunch of them, and I got to play the Stevie Ray #1 prototype, and I'm like, this guitar sucks. And he's like, because that's the way he had it set up. So like, you can't equate, you can buy a PRS Silver Sky and be like, all right, well, yeah, you can kind of get that mid scoopy sort of John Mayer tone, but because the person, and I'm not saying because you can't play as good as him, I'm saying because that person, whoever it is, built that guitar with a vision that they had in their head, or a vision of a guitar that they already had, and they did that based on all their references, what amp they use, they built that based on how they play and how they interact with guitar. And since I don't do it the same way, I don't care. I can't reference, I cannot reference Slash with my playing and be like, yeah, now I sound just like him. It just doesn't work. Because I don't have a Marshall. That's really why.
Super chat from Tazzy. Tim, thank you for the super chat. Tim, he says, good day, gang.
How are you? You have a box on the way to you with things in it.
Well, I would hope so. Empty boxes are weird.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for the super chat.
Want to do the last question, or you want to hear?
Let's do the last question, because
Okay.
I think it's a basic one. Pretty basic.
Garner, good evening, and thank you for your time. What is your opinion of guitars with built-in effects? And are most of these guitars using a programmable modeler that you can program different effects?
Okay, so there's a couple different ones. The Line 6 Variax is more of a digital modeler. Then there's a bunch of vintage stuff that has like solid state like stuff in it, which is really cool, like the old Vox guitars and stuff. I think a lot of it's pretty conventional stuff. There's only a couple of like full-on digital things. I always bring up 12,000 Foot Crush because those guys, or is it 12 Foot Crush? Whatever. Anyway, that band from Australia, because the guitar player that plays for them uses one of those Line 6 Variaxis things, and they're really neat because you can tune each string to a different tuning digitally, and it doesn't mess with the tension, and you can do all kinds of weird stuff. And so I think that's a digital thing. I think they're neat. I personally don't have a reason to have one. However, I would love to have, I take that back. Matt and I have talked many times about building a guitar with a fuzz in it, which would be pretty neat.
Smart Alex, you think the Indonesian Strat standard of today is better than the Mexican 2000 standard?
Yep, I do. Because the Mexican 2000 stuff had garbage electronics in it, and they all weighed like 1,000,000 pounds.
Chicken Waller Farm, what about guitars like the Woodwright Warlord from Does It Doom? They hit around 12 to 1,500. They are sourcing the guitar manufacturing, but they appear to be quality. It's what I'm saving for.
They're probably Indonesian. If they're $1,200, right in that range, they're probably Indonesian. They're probably fine. They're probably great. All that stuff, all that stuff's really good. I've about $1,000 Schecter that's from Indonesia, and that thing's great. We had one of those purple Kramers in here. Remember that purple Kramer I had on the channel for a while? Yeah, those guitars are they're right in that. All that stuff's right in that same range, and they're really good. They're really good.
Dog Dr. Tim is here. He said, whew, I finally relaxed. I saw 17 patients today, and it took all I had. The boss is out of town.
Dang. Well, it's nice to have you, Tim. Oh. Where is that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, ask another question. I'm going to go get it.
Chicken Waller Farm says, yes, fuzz. I need to have all the fuzzes.
I get that. It's hot. So the dishwasher must have just got done. Okay, so I went and got this because Dog Dr. Tim sent us a present in the mail. And it is, come on, a Hello Kitty mug. Oh, it's better back here. Hello Kitty mug. And on the back it says, don't follow me. I'm lost too. And it's pretty awesome. So he said he was at a Cracker Barrel and he saw that and he thought of us. And Leslie's like, that's the best kind of gift.
Yeah, I think it was something he said like, I hope you get my sense of humor or something.
Yeah.
But literally, I say it's the best kind of gift because that's the thoughtfulness in like,
Yeah.
I saw this random thing, but it made me think of you. Like, that's the best gift.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate that. That's really neat. And a few of you have done that, and it's pretty cool.
Plus, it's a good size. Like, it's a usable size.
It is. It is a usable size. I actually just, this is off topic, but I actually just serviced the espresso machine yesterday. I made one for Brianna this morning, and it was really good. All right, next.
Ron Carrillo is probably like
Carrillo.
roll some R's and
Okay.
Rio.
Okay.
Mike McCready on a podcast used his signature model guitar and explained how close it is to vintage Strat. Valid?
I have played a lot of vintage Strats, a lot of them, like really good ones, like ones that Stevie Ray actually owned, not a copy. I have played some fantastic vintage guitars, and I will tell you that my Mike McCready Strat is it's in the top 5 ever Strats that I've ever played. I love my Mike McCready Strat. Absolutely. It's worth, people get all bent because it's made in Mexico. It is worth whatever it costs. It is an excellent guitar.
Kazi Tim said, are you thinking of 12-foot Ninja?
12-foot Ninja. Yes, I
I
am.
was literally like, what are you talking about?
12-foot Ninja. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of the name.
Threw in 12,000 and clutch.
Yeah.
Like,
Whatever. I don't know.
wow.
I don't know.
Where were you?
12-foot Ninja. That's it. Sorry.
Yeah. John owns 16 can't play any Roddy says, I have a Line 6 JTV 59. I love it for learning songs. First song, standard tuning. Second song, drop D. Turn the knob. Next song, D-A-D, G-A-D. Turn the knob. No tuning for days.
That's pretty neat. That's really neat.
Hans Moselle. Personally, I dislike the 2-point trim on some of the newer Stratocasters. Do you guys like the vintage 6-screw style or the 2-point?
I default to 6-screw all day long. The only 2-point guitar I have is my PRS Fiore. That's the only 2-point guitar that I have. And to be honest with you, that's the only one that I have floated because they float real nice. So if you're gonna float a trim, a 2-point is nice. If you can still do it with a 6-screw. I have actually no, my other ones are all down. They're all flat, but yeah, and you can do it though. I've floated many times on a 6-screw one, but the 2 does it easier. That's where I would get the benefit there.
'Tis a slow night.
Is it?
Yes. There's like nothing happening. Hans Moselle said, I just don't understand why Fender would make a change like that, like this, after so many years.
I do. I think it is because I think there's a few things going on. I think they're trying to figure out how to manage that mid-price guitar line because they are getting more expensive. You know, I think I've thought about it too. Like any company gets to a point and they know that prices are going to change a lot. So one of the things that, in my opinion, I think Fender does this incorrectly is when they need to make a market adjustment. And what I mean by that is, you know, you have your really basic Squire, that one we just bought. And then there's a couple in between there. And then you have a classic Vibe series. And then you get into your Made in Mexico stuff. And then the Made in Mexico Ultra E kind of stuff. And then, first of all, they have way too many models. Okay. Second of all, in my opinion, you should have your basic models in all the colors, right? And then you should have all of the signature models. Because the only reason you would buy something crazy is, in my opinion, I know that's not totally true, but anyway, they make too many models. That's number one. Number two is when they want to make it a market adjustment, what they really should do is just be like, hey, everybody, Mexico just got more expensive, so these guitars are going to cost more. So you can do one of two things. You can buy a Squire, or you can bump up for a few extra bucks and go to an American one, because the American ones probably don't have to go up as much. So that's what I would do. I would just be honest with everybody. Instead of what they do is they insert, for market adjustments, they insert new model lines and they move things around and they confuse everybody. So the Indonesian guitars are fine, but they're just Squires. The Mexico guitars are fine, and we know what they've been since the 90s or whatever. I just don't think they need to keep introducing new model lines to make up for their market. All they're doing is market adjusting. They're just trying to keep their lines in price ranges where everybody can have a Fender, which is what that's for. I just think they do it wrong. Super annoying, actually.
Super chat from Lithium Man. Thank you for the super chat. He says, have you ever tried the Epiphone Anniversary Zephyr? I got one, and it's the definition of elegance as far as jazz boxes go.
I have played one. I have no opinion on it because it's not the kind of guitar that I play usually, but they're neat. Oh, I'll say they're neat.
Jason from Help Desk said, I posted a question on the Patreon chat a little late.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Well, you look for that.
Mm-hmm.
Super chat from Tazzy Tim. Thank you for the super chat, Tim. He said, to help pay for the mini fountain pen. Ha ha ha. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Did you buy another pen?
Did I?
I don't know.
I didn't mean to. Oh, he's talking about your tiny one.
The little tiny
He probably
one?
watched the other channel and saw your little tiny one.
Like this one?
Yeah, the little teeny.
That's cute. Thanks, Tim.
Oh, Jason from Help Desk. Good evening, Dylan and Leslie. I watched the recording of the live stream from 2 weeks ago when you discussed the obsolescence of tube amps and modelers. I agree that many new guitar players will probably choose to start off with modelers since they are already accustomed to touchscreens and computers. I was wondering what you think this will mean for the usage of effects pedals besides things like wah, Seymour, and effects that require a pedal. Do you think these new players will ever switch to physical effects pedals? Yeah, I bet they will. I bet people who think it's fun, it's also, it's like a personality type, right? Like, I think that's the other thing. A lot of people get too hooked up on, like, this is a digital modeler and it does everything I want. And this is a tube amp and does everything I want. When it's not anything about the gear, it's more about the personality type. I personally want to go over to my Kemper, hit a button and play and not goof around with it. But if you're a tinkerer, and that's funny because I'm a tinkerer in so many other things except for that. But if you're a tinkerer and you're like, oh, I want to twist some knobs around and I want to play with pedal order and I want to make my own patch cables, and like that's its own thing. So I think personality type and what you like to do within the hobby is what's going to determine whether you go to it or not. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with tone or technology or any of that. I don't think any of it does 99% of the time, to tell you the truth.
Matthew Altamere said, anyone ordered the JHS Not a Dumble? I was a sucker, and it's coming tomorrow. Hans Moselle said, I'm getting mine delivered Saturday.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't order it.
Searching for tune. Let me try that again. Searching for tone says, I never realized they were just snap and put together. I thought theirs required solder kits, so I passed. I'd rather build it whole, but it's great for the price. T-Bone, as a Fender fan, I think they are doing a lot of things wrong. John owns 16, can't play any Roddy. Musician's friend has an EVH guitar on sale, or has EVH guitars on sale, $200 off. I have heard the Wolfgang shape is very comfortable and special. Thoughts?
Yeah, Yeah, they're neat. I've played a bunch of them. Yeah, I'm not a fan of them overall, but I get why people really like them. And if what's neat, I'll tell you what's neat about them is if you don't want a Strat or a Tele, buy a Challenger. But if you don't want a Challenger, then buy one of those, and it won't be anything. Like it's its own thing, which is kind of cool.
Hans Moselle said, Wisconsin brown water samples incoming, Dylan. Just check the tracking. Should be delivered tomorrow.
Nice.
Lithium Man says, I got a USA Wolfgang. It is comfortable. The feel of the back of the neck might take some getting used to.
Different shape or something? Yeah, I guess they are a different profile. So with the dogs, I've decided at the beginning of my last video, I was just like, this is what we're going to talk about today, and you're going to get some bonus bone chewing ASMR because I can't really do anything about it. That's just how it is.
They just like to be near you.
Because he's just going to chew a bone. He'll nap the entire rest of the day, and you're like, record chew bone on hard floor.
Yeah, but you're talking and he wants to be with you. Like you're usually quiet.
That's probably true.
So
that's probably true. Yeah.
It's like being
He's
awake.
Trying to participate. Yeah. Yep.
Dog Dr. Tim said, I only think I'm a genius, but not sure how wah effect can be digitalized.
It can, but it will sound that way. Yeah.
T-Bone, hi, Dylan and Leslie. Dylan, is it that costly for Fender to offer models in both maple or rosewood necks for bolts? Question mark.
You talking about like for the aftermarket to buy, like if you wanted to buy a neck? I think that's more of a production thing. Because what would happen is they would have to alter their production structure to make extra necks for a market that is frankly not that big. And there's so many licensed people that do it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're talking about putting a rosewood and a maple fretboard on a existing model, they're not using rosewood very much anymore on any of the import stuff. So then, yeah, it would probably be just as cheap or expensive to do that.
Play Gibson says, I feel like I have been forever on the hunt for the perfect at-home practice amp. I have recently fell in love with Spark products, the Mini, Neo headphones, and just got the Control X. Thoughts?
Dude, it's what I use. I'm with you 100%. I have, so, you know, my Princeton I use for videos, but it doesn't have a headphone jack. So I have to use I would probably play that more if it had a headphone jack, but, I use the interface headphone jack when I record, but that's too much messing around. So the Positive Grid Spark Mini is my number one amp. Like, that's what I use the most. And I love it, man. It sounds great. It's fun. It's fun. Okay? It doesn't sound like a Marshall stack, but it's fun. It is really fun.
David Richards said Fender used to offer 4 different neck widths, A, B, C, and D. Mm-hmm. I suspect they stopped doing this because of logistical costs.
Well, no, they still do it. But what they've done is they keep them on the models that they were originally on, if that makes sense. So your U and your D are going to be on your 50s guitars a lot of times. That's not totally a rule, but... And then as you go forward, you're going to get your more modern ones. They keep them in the eras that they are. If you go and buy a blacktop Tele right now, a blacktop Tele. If you buy a blacktop Tele, it'll have a U neck or a D neck, depending on the year. Yep. Let's just listen to dogs chew bones. I know, right? I will say, I was going to make a video, and I might still make a video about it. I was thinking about it today.
That was a lot of I'm thinking about it.
I'm
without
thinking
saying
about
anything.
it, but I don't. So I was going to do a video on setting up my new Martin, you know, because like every acoustic comes in the action's a little high and
Change the strings yet?
blah, blah, blah. I haven't changed the strings yet. They're terrible. I hate Martin strings because I was going to do a video on setup and I'd need to change the strings then. And I just on a whim, and I don't usually do this. Normally, when I do those measurements, I actually do them for the first time in the video. So I'm as surprised as they are. But I've been playing it so much, I'm like, I want to check the string height on this. And then the low E is a little higher than I'd like it to be. But the high E is perfect. The guitar plays so good. It's so fun. And my old one, you know, the guitar that is the real version of the Korean one that I used to have. The action was kind of high on that guitar too. So when I play this guitar, it's like so familiar that I don't want to change it. So I think I'm not actually going to do a video on doing, so I probably will just change the strings on it now. But yeah, I'm like, this is actually so good. I don't know if I want to mess with it. And I was texting Scott, you know, I got a buddy who's like really experienced in servicing Martins. So I was asking him about, you know, goal string height and all that stuff. And he's like, dude, don't bring it too low. He's like, you'll kill a Martin if you bring it too low. And he told me that on my D28, so I didn't. And so I went and I measured my D28, and it's only a little tiny lower than this D18. And I'm like, I think I'm just going to leave it. I like the way it plays. So, and it's high. It's like 80 thousandths or something. It's high, but it's still super fun.
Aunt V says, Dylan, if I say, every time I say that, because V and B sounds the same, I just think of Andy Griffith. Like,
yes,
I just hear myself saying Aunt B, even though I'm saying Aunt V. So Aunt V says, Dylan, if I say pretty please, will you build me a wide range in a regular humbucker size?
Yep.
Ooh.
It'll be 49.2 string spacing, but I will do it. Well, it'll be my version of it anyway, but yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
It's just waiting still. This is weird. It's only, we still have like 22 minutes.
In on-topic time?
Yes. And
wow. How many viewers do we have? It might be kind of low. Well, it's not really. We usually have around 100. Something like that. You know.
Everybody's content or everybody's tired.
Yep.
Maybe everybody's
Dave's
tired.
not here because Dave's at Matt's house.
Oh.
Dastardly Dave's not here tonight.
Is there a class?
Because there's a class and he's actually out there.
What's he building? What's
it's an SG class, so they're actually all building SGs, or as Matt likes to call it, the prostitute. He's building. That's what they're building.
Nice.
And they're all neck throughs too, which is neat.
So there's a reveal tomorrow of what everybody built.
Yep.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, make sure you watch that at 5:00 Mountain Time, so it's 7:00 Eastern. It'll show what everybody built. And if you've not signed up for one of their workshops, you need to. I'm going to be out there winding pickups. June 24th to the 27th or whatever that week is. So if you want to learn how to wind pickups, hit me up and we'll make it happen. It'd be super fun.
All right, now it's scrolled off the screen, so Dog Dr. Tim, the thought of making any changes to my acoustics bridge makes me cringe. Therefore, I baffled on intonation on an acoustic. Mine is, quote, pretty good, so I'm leery to mess with it.
Yeah, it's tough, right? So, because you can only take material off. It's like you have to buy a bridge just in case you screw it up. The thing is, I bought a new toy to do it. I mean, I've had it for a while. I used it on a couple of guitars already, but I was going to make a video about this. I got one of them like saddle/nut skateboards, you know, it works really good. And so I was going to use that and be like, oh, this is going to be fun, you know. But you're right about the intonation thing, because if you don't get the saddle straight up and down perfectly while you're sanding it and you get it on a little angle, it screws everything up. So yeah, that's really important. Even by a couple thousandths, like it's got to be right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I have that little toy. It works awesome. But now I don't have a reason to use it.
Super chat from Tazzy Tim. Thanks for the super chat, Tim. He said, I am having problems installing my Filtertrons. Do you use springs or foam?
Those ones you'll probably use foam. That's what I would do. I think some of the cheaper guitars will use a spring sticking out of foam. But I just use foam. You go to the dollar store or the Dollar Tree or whatever, and you get those thick, squishy mats that you put on the like a shop floor, like they're real squishy, and you just cut those into strips. Or you go to your auto parts store. You're in Australia, so I think anything aftermarket is illegal in Australia. But you go to and you get like the camper shell tape or the it's like not the camper shell tape. That's the thin stuff. The cheapest, crappiest that you would only use like on an old car in the old days, weather stripping. So it doesn't have any shape to it or anything. It's just a square, squishy foam with adhesive on the back. I buy that by the roll, and that's what I use.
Aunt V said, sign me up then. How do I order? And then he said, if I buy the wide range in a regular humbucker size, will you also etch the chrome cover with a pattern?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Go to the website in the chat and just leave me a message about this, and I'll send you an invoice.
Don Joe 706 says, quick dive Filtertron, noobs as topic.
Say what now?
I guess he wants to know about Filtertron as a newbie is how I read that.
Oh, okay.
It says quick dive Filtertron, noobs as topic.
Okay.
Filtertron noobs as the topic. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
There's a comma in there.
They're kind of the original humbucker pre-Seth Lover. They're a little different in construction. We have a video on them on the channel where I show how they're put together. They're super weird. Instead of having a base plate that holds everything together, they have a top plate that the screws go through, and then it like retains the bobbins to the top plate. And then the top plate like sort of pinches the magnet as it slides into the base plate. They're super weird. But they're really little. They're like a really small nylon bobbin. Clear nylon bobbin. They're very low output. They have a real goofy magnet. The magnet's kind of square over bore instead of like flat and wide like a regular humbucker. I think they're maybe like 3/8 of an inch wide and like 3/8 of an inch tall. They're like a square, and they're about that long. They're usually cast, sand cast. Yeah, they're just super low output humbucker basically. So you get a lot of clarity with them. They're kind of crackly when you overdrive them, but that's like why Gretches sound the way they sound, So yeah, there's your crash course.
Hans Moselle said, the Highway 99 pickup I got sound great in the bridge of the Made in Japan Strat. Thanks, Dylan. No more tinny stock pickup.
Excellent. That's what we want.
Hawkman Hawk says, am I having a flashback, or does the camera focus in and out a little bit sometimes? LOL.
Maybe it does. It might. Probably because of my white shirt. You're not supposed to wear white on camera.
I didn't know that.
No. Oh my gosh, I hurt.
IbG. Oof. As long as there's a gap in the chat, let me just say thanks for the P90s. Really loving them.
Oh, excellent.
David Sullivan. Hello from Austin. I have a lot of coworkers in Austin right now. Our first event for that new special event the first one was today, which is why I had to do that session today.
Gotcha.
David Sullivan. Hello from Austin. Question for you guys. My wife a few years ago bought me an entry-level Gretsch. I'm not a fan of the humbuckers. What would you recommend I put in?
Our DAFs, and then you will love that guitar. Probably.
Super chat from John Own 16 can't play Annie Roddy. I don't know why I always say it in that cadence, but Thanks for the super chat, John. Did you receive my email about pickups for my Challenger order? Dramatic pause.
Maybe. I did get, Matt and I talked about a couple of Challengers that I'm building stuff for special the other day, but I will double check because there's a few of them that we got going right now. I'm writing John 16, like the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing this down right now. Cool.
Shane Walton, video idea. How about comparing two guitarists and explain the tone differences between them? Example, how similar are the tones of Alex Lifeson and Jimmy Page? Early Lifeson was often mistaken for Page.
I don't like doing those kind of videos because I don't like saying what I think a guitar player sounds like because, right? But what would be really fun is I have a friend who can take any guitar and make it sound like a Telecaster. It could be a Ibanez Gem, full gain, and he'll make it sound like a friggin' Telecaster. Every guitar sound, because the way he plays. He was in here playing my Strat a couple of my guitars the other day. And I'm like, dude, the only guitar that he immediately sat down and was like, I'm playing something different than he normally plays. Guess which one?
No clue.
The Texas Toast with the neck pickup. Only. Yeah. The American Icon.
Is it because he's not as comfortable with single pickup guitars, or because he felt that
guitar does that to you? Because and I laughed and I was like, see, this is and I told him, this is what I tell everybody about the American Icon from Texas Toast. It's when you say that joke about, oh, this is what you get for the guy who has everything. That is the guitar that you get that you play when you just want to be complete. It completely changes your brain. It's the guitar for the guitarist who already has everything because he doesn't have one of those. That's what it's for. Yep. Are you longing after a ball?
Edgar Cesario, Dylan, I watched your video of guitars that you have tried. I have a 335 Epiphone 1 and I am happy with it, but now I want to try a Gibson so bad. Thanks, I guess.
You should. And you might play that Gibson and go, I don't like this at all. There's a good chance of that if you really like your Epiphone.
David Richards, how would you contrast your DAFs to Seth Lovers?
I wouldn't contrast them. I would tell you that's what they're made after. Yep.
Aunt V, sorry to keep asking questions. That's what we're here for.
This is for.
But I finally have a guitar with the Gibson custom buckers, and I don't see what people think are so great. What's with the hype?
I don't know. I think that most of their pickups they sound like Gibson pickups. So I don't
Okay,
really
so
know.
the camera just jittered. I saw it happen.
That's because the dog kicked it.
Just kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, that was creepy.
That's also something that I have multiple taked for many times. And I just decided to start leaving it in.
Hey,
Hey, calm down.
Matthew Altamere says, will you have to change your name to John Own 17 soon? LOL. Or is it already more than 16?
I'm pretty sure he just hasn't changed his name.
What did we start at a long time ago?
Well, I mean, he's got a Challenger on order, so I guess we'll see, won't we?
Ooh.
Because he's got a guitar that he doesn't have yet. So does that mean, you know what he should say? He should just change it to
Plus.
No. John owns a Challenger, can't play any Roddy. Because you don't really need anything after that.
Wow. All right. 10 minutes.
Bria and I were talking about this last night or this morning. How do you just chew on a bone all day? Like, if I chew gum for like more than 30 minutes, I'm like, my jaw's kind of getting sore. But he will literally for hours chew on a bone.
Is he just toting it around?
Oh, yeah.
It's small enough to fit in his mouth now.
Yeah, it's probably time to get rid of that one. But yeah, he'll just carry it around. He took it outside, walked around the yard with it, brought it back in. Like,
oh, John said, I ordered a Challenger. That will be number 17. LOL.
All right. There you go. Excellent.
Is it not hard to change your YouTube name?
No, you can change it pretty easy.
I've never done it. I didn't know.
I've only done it once. When we went from Dylan Pickups to Dylan Talks Tone. That was
a long time ago.
And that was a big decision.
Yeah.
Because I was like, but people won't know I make pickups. It was like a really...
Sometimes they don't.
Sometimes they don't know. Still.
Well, you got to talk about it.
I know. Yeah. That falls under the you can't make everybody happy thing. I didn't know you made pickups. Do you make pickups? And then all you do is use your videos to sell pickups.
Yeah.
Well.
So funny.
If everybody who said that bought them, I probably wouldn't have to say it.
Tezzy Tim said, Leslie's top is making my eyes to spin out.
You know what? That is why it's bouncing focus.
Because why? It's not that weird.
Yeah, but scan wise, like when we're talking about a camera, the way a camera works, and actually, because it's a rotary, like not a rotary, but a rolling shutter. I bet that is it. Between my white shirt, we have like the worst combination on tonight. That's probably why. That's funny.
David Richards said, "Do you make pickups?" Dr. Tim said, "Please don't let Zeba have animal bones. They are dangerous."
Yep.
Hans Mazel, not sure if you saw my reply to your new humbucker line name, but I suggested bourbon buckers.
Okay, so I
missed something.
That was a joke. I'm not actually doing that, but it was a joke about how I'm gonna have 3 new models come out, and they're gonna be, I don't remember. Troll, Mama's Boy, and Incel or something.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Kyle Ketchamonia said, "Ooh, I just seen Epiphone is coming out with a DC Junior."
They are. Yep. I probably won't buy one. If one of you wants one, let me know. Maybe we'll do that thing where I buy it and we fix it up and put a pickup in it or whatever. Yeah, I'd probably do that. I don't really want one because I have a pile of them already. But
Shane Walton said, "I thought they made metal kitty shirts." We do that too.
We do that too.
Actually, we don't make them.
No,
but
we designed them. And somebody else makes them and sends them to you.
I wanted to update that, but I don't know what I want to update it to, so I haven't done it.
Yeah, we've been talking about that. Maybe we'll talk about that in the off-topic hour, actually. What we were talking about yesterday that we have not done enough of.
Did we talk about that yesterday?
Or maybe that was the other day. I don't know. The days run together.
Dr. Tim said, "So your outfits are causing an optical delusion."
That's what it is. Yeah, exactly.
Edgar Cesario said, "Dylan, I also watched the video of what kind of customer are you?" I would have to say that with time and trying different things, now I really know what I want. Order my Gibson Les Paul from Wildwood. Love it.
That's awesome, man. You know, and I think that's really the whole purpose of what we do here is help people find that spot. Like and that was the whole point of that video was like, you might not be the customer that you think you are. And I personally, I would encourage people to dive into that because I think people short sell themselves. They sell themselves short of you know, what they quote unquote deserve or are good enough to have or any of that kind of stuff. And they don't, all that self-limiting belief stuff is real. Like if you tell yourself you're never going to have a Gibson because you can't afford it, then you're never going to have one, you know, but that's has nothing to do with how expensive the guitar is. That's your problem. Like, so fix that. Like, you know, we were talking about the other day and she said something about that. And she's like, she said the same thing. There's an aspirational quality to all this stuff where you want to continue to get better and be better and more knowledgeable and grow with it all. He's like, this is dumb. You guys are sitting here not doing anything. You're not petting me. You're not letting me sleep with my head on you. Oh, there he comes. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah.
How are you? Say hello. Everybody can see you and your long tongue.
Yep. Yep. That is him.
Feeling cute? Yeah. Okay.
All right. All right.
That was the most gentle he's ever jumped up.
Yeah, he's getting.
He like literally like walked up like,
Did he
I'm
really?
coming to see you.
Hey, buddy. He's pretty awesome.
John owns 16, can't play any. Roddy said the Epiphone Widow Les Pauls look awesome.
Aw, that's it. Why you sound pitiful?
So beautiful, buddy.
You say hi. Say hello to the camera.
No? All right. I know. We only have to do this for a little while longer. And then I'll come and lay on the floor with you and watch hockey. That's what we'll do.
Hogman Hawk says, I am waiting for a Wankel pickup. LOL.
Oh, like a Mazda RX-7. Okay, bud.
Drop him on Bandit.
Don't do that. Aunt B, what is that chonker of a red pen? This is why the Pilot Vanishing Point is the greatest. Slim and sleek.
This is a Wancher at one of their Ebonite ones. Yeah, it's huge. I love it.
But the Pilot Vanishing Point is a great pen.
It is awesome. She has a Decimo and I have a Vanishing Point. They're awesome.
Is he just licking your shirt? That was weird. A Primo Fiore.
Mm-hmm.
I just looked it up. My new pickups will be here tomorrow. The Thruxton neck and flat 6 bridge with matching silver pearl covers. Thanks so much.
You will love that. Those are going to be awesome. I took a picture of those. I think we put them on Instagram. They're neat. Did that silver chrome pearl stuff for tops. Yeah, it's gonna be neat.
Nice.
I'm glad everybody's having so much fun with that. I was telling her, we looked at, because it's a new month, a while ago now. At the end of last month, when month end comes and I'm looking at everything, I told her, I was like, man, the percentage of like not normal pickup business we did this month was really high. Like not the majority, but maybe 50-50. Somebody was like, hey, can you do this special thing to my pickups or this special color or, any of that acrylic pearl stuff or anything like that. If there's anything that you want, let me know because we'll do it. It's super fun. Every day we're having somebody order and if it's something that we had on the website before that's not on there now, it's simply because I try not to overwhelm the website with like crazy changes all the time because it gets people confused. But if there's this color that I saw in there one time, but I haven't seen it on there. Oh, hey, bub, just get with me and we will, we'll do it. Sorry, you spun me around. Right round.
Haha. Wild slash. I don't know. 2003. Looking into some SRV style lipstick tube strat pickups. What would it take to get some made from you?
You are the
This way.
third person to ask me about that this week. Nobody ever asks me about that. I get one call about that every year, probably. And 3 people have asked me, unless they're just using the same username or different usernames. Well, hello. Yes. Thank you for the contribution, buddy. Yes, I will just get with me and maybe we'll make a set. I'll see if I have the part. The problem is parts availability. So, again, send me a message. I'll look into the parts availability tomorrow and we'll see what we can do. I hate making them things. They suck, but I'll do it if you want me to.
Jessica Lawson, been a year and a half since I got my pair of P90s and I still absolutely love them.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
New gun guy. Dylan, I paid $2,000 for a 70th anniversary broadcaster. And when I opened the case, the neck screws weren't screwed in all the way. Whoever assembled it, QC and Sweetwater, all failed.
Wow, that's pretty wild. And it's after 9 o'clock.
Tazzy Tim said, thanks for all the effort you put into my center punches. Okay, now you can go. 9:01.
Oh, is it? My watch must be a little fast. I should change that. I don't like it when my watch is
How
not
fast
right.
is it?
2 minutes.
Oh, so you thought I was late.
Yeah, so I was just, but I just don't like it when my watch is wrong. It's okay if it's off a couple seconds, but I know that's really super nerdy, but.
So, I mean, you can't set your clock how you want to anymore because everything's digital, but I was definitely everything was 10 minutes ahead to trick me into never being late when I was younger.
Oh, see, not me. I can't, I calculate things. So like if it's a 9-minute drive, I need to leave, not to be there on time, but I like to know how long it should take.
It doesn't mean I don't know how long things take, but
I know.
I want to be at least 10 minutes early, probably.
And I'm an analog plan backwards on the clock person. So like if I have to be here, then I need to leave here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I always, even on my Apple Watch, I always have an analog face.
So how come every time I tell you what time do you want to leave, because I plan backwards too, you like act like I'm crazy?
Because most of the time it is a calculate, because as you know, there's certain things that we do that the time that I need to be there is variable. So most of the time it's calculating, do I have to be there at this time or can I not be there until this time? Because I try to give you as much time as I can. You know, because if I'm required to be there at 6:30, then we have to leave at a certain time. If I'm not required to be there at 6:30, then
but I don't ask you that.
Fudgy.
I ask you what time are we leaving?
Right, but what I'm saying is the reason I can't ask you or answer right away is because sometimes I have to figure it out based on what the day is. Yeah, and I also gauge it by. This sounds bad, but I also gauge it by how you ask me. If you're not feeling good or whatever, and you know, who knows what? Like if it's like I've had a crazy day, and what time do we have to leave? You know, then obviously try to.
They believe him alone.
Hey, bud. We have
To play so bad.
one dog that wants to play and one dog that definitely does not.
Who wants to sleep?
Hey, no gay stuff.
John on 16 can't play any rod. He said, I've heard that Weimaraners are high strung. Is that true for your dog? He definitely has a lot of energy, but based on what we hear, and what people say when they know Weimaraners, apparently he's pretty chill for a Weimaraner.
Even the breeder, when we got him, was like, this dude is super chill. You're going to love him.
The vet says that.
Everywhere we go, you go to the groomers, they're like, wow, your dog is so chill. They usually come in here and they're crazy, like no matter where we go.
He can be crazy.
Oh yeah.
It's like having a toddler though. Like I'd rather him misbehave at home than when we go somewhere.
And he
so.
is right now. Like we've been doing this and not paying him any attention. He's like a little kid, just like pulling on your coat. Like that's what he's doing to us right now. When he puts his paws up on you like that, that's what he wants you to like lay on the floor with him. Like literally get a blanket and like lay on the floor with him. Or, he went and got a toy. We call it the llama. See, he's got a toy and he's stuffing it in Bandit's face. He's like, I want you to play. So that's what he's doing right now. Yep.
Hans Moselle said, when are we going to see more of Dylan showing us his expert culinary skills? And where can I get a TV with smell-o-vision? That burrito filling looked amazing.
So when I did my Ask Me Anything, I literally did random stuff and was just answering a question as I was doing other stuff, making a pickup, cutting some stuff. And I think I had just talked to you and you were coming back from grandbaby's house. And I was like, I'm going to shoot this really quick while I'm cooking. And you were on your way home. And so I cooked that night when I cooked dinner or whatever. Maybe it wasn't that day, but whatever, when I cooked dinner and you got home and it was ready, I shot it then. Yep.
So he used to make cooking videos, Hans, and he used to cook more.
I actually used to, almost every morning, I used to go live on Facebook and cook breakfast and do like a morning thing.
I personally miss those days too. Don't worry.
I could do it. I could do it a couple times a week. I can't do it every day because the way the schedule goes now, I am busier now than I was then. So the way the schedule goes now, a lot of times I am trying to beat the mailman. So,
David Richards said, I've also heard they may not be good around kids. I've never heard that.
I've never heard that, and I cannot imagine.
No, and we do have an infant that is now coming around, and he's fine.
Yep.
He's curious, doesn't like for him to cry, but who likes for a baby to cry?
Yeah, and when you say don't like him for him to cry, he's just all up in his business. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, he's like looking at you like, can you fix it?
Can you make it stop?
But
can you make it stop?
No,
Can you fix it? He's
been super chill, actually. Yeah. He's good with all the people that come over. I don't know that he's seen a lot of kids, I guess, but
we're working on the whole, because there's two of them and they feed off of each other. So, and we never said the off-topic thing. Ask any off-topic question you want and we'll answer it, probably. If you ask a guitar question after 9 o'clock, you have to use a super chat. Otherwise, come back next week for that. I'm trying to still work with him on the when people come over. Both of them go crazy because they feed off of each other. If Zeba was by himself, he wouldn't be as crazy. But Bandit goes nuts, and then Zeba actually is annoyed that he's going nuts, and he jumps. So Bandit will jump all over everything, and Zeba will jump all over Bandit. It's a weird, because I think he doesn't like it. So he just is trying to get him to calm down.
Well, he doesn't like noise for sure.
He doesn't like noises. He's getting better about that.
I still don't think he likes Bandit barking.
No, no. He doesn't like Bandit barking. He's okay with me playing guitar now. Both of them. Bandit doesn't like it, but he doesn't like run from it. Before, if I strummed a chord on an acoustic guitar, Bandit would take off. But yeah, so like I was sitting in the living room, I think it was the other night while you were at grandbaby's house. And I really think I was sitting in there playing acoustic because I was going through before that video, kind of playing them all. And they both just sat in here. And when I shoot videos, they both come in here and just like sniff around. Like when I'm playing, he's like super curious. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think if I had any other off-topic stuff. We're gonna talk about laser stuff. So, one of the off-topic things is, and I mention it every once in a while, but we need to put some real time into it. If you all need anything, that you've ever seen lasered onto something, let me know because we'll do it. We're probably because we've been kind of neglecting the fact that we need to start making coasters and cups and not guitar related stuff, just anything. I got a rotary, so I'm going to work on doing like corporate gifts, like pens and stuff. And yeah, so we could make corporate gifts. We could do stuff for real estate agents. We could do all that kind of stuff. I want to get that laser a little busier than it is. So if it's something that you're into, let us know. If you got a wedding coming up and you want something or some kind of big event like that and you want some personalized, I don't know, whatever.
Stop it.
We've made single gifts for people, even customers. Like, hey, I've got a bottle opener that I want to give my daughter, blah, blah, blah. So we've done all that.
Tazzy Tim said, we're trying to teach our 9-month-old coonhound not to sleep on the bed. Any ideas?
No.
Behavior is not our thing.
Yeah.
Ask Dog Dr. Tim. Maybe he has some ideas.
Yeah. I wish my dog didn't sleep in my bed either, but he is.
I forgot to email that lady back still because I've been busy. Whoops.
You have been busy, though. It's very rare that you're like, look, I have meetings from here to here. Don't even come in here.
Well, next week's going to be worse.
Yeah, I know. Because you got all kinds of stuff going.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I had a weird deadline because I had to put somebody off but they were out of the office, so I didn't feel bad. But I thought I had until like tomorrow, but I forgot they're on the other side of the world. So he was like,
It's
well,
tomorrow now.
Technically, like that's not going to get to me in time. So like get it to me Monday. And I was like, you kind of just made my day because that gives me more time, but I will get it.
Because it's already tomorrow on the other side of the world, like where Tazzy Tim is.
Rick Swinson said, is your dog a Hungarian Vizsla? No.
No, a lot of people ask us that. No, he's a Weimaraner.
Robot Shlomo says, just let them sleep on the bed. There will come a time when you'll really wish he still could.
Yeah, except he's huge. It's not that he's huge. He's long. When he goes to stretch out, his arms go a long way.
I think his arms are longer than mine.
Oh, yeah.
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 Hey. David Richard says, I received a gift once. It was a bottle of wine with a message engraved. I don't know what technology they used to do it.
Probably a laser.
Matthew Altamere, Leslie, are you still into makeup? No. My wife is a makeup artist, and I asked my 4-year-old son what he wants to get her for Mother's Day, and he said makeup. So we're going shopping at Sephora tomorrow.
Nice.
That's fun. That's cute that he wants to get her makeup. No, I haven't done makeup since the end of 2019.
Yep.
Right before it officially completed about February of 2020. And then, of course, March of 2020 was COVID. And I don't know who was wearing makeup for those 3 years. So it kind of worked out great.
Mm-hmm.
Been a while.
Yep.
Dog Dr. Tim apparently has no advice. His response was, that's why I have a king bed.
Yeah, exactly. Get a king bed. Yeah.
Dog Dr. Tim said knife and drink of the night.
Drink of the night is just this Buffalo Trace that I've got. And knife is this a TR? Yeah, it's a ProTech, but is it a TR5, I think? Yeah, it's a TR5. ProTech Tactical Response 5, and this is a 2024 Blade Show exclusive in Blackfish scale and rose gold fretboard. Oh, this is Blade Show 2023. This is Blade Show 2023.
I didn't go. Did I go?
You did. You went with me.
I don't remember.
We've been to 2, so that would make sense. 23 and 24.
And so we're about to go to the third
and we're
one?
about to go to the third one.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've been saving up money and everything.
Do you know what you want?
Nope.
Protect going to tell us what we want.
We'll go to the ProTech table. We'll probably buy a couple there. One for me and
It'll
one for
probably
you.
be the
Probably.
same guy.
It'll probably be. Oh, I'm sure it will be the same guy. Yeah, I don't know what I want. I've thought about it a bunch, and I'm really getting picky. Like I just, I watch all the new knife video. Like these are the new knives from and I get the emails. And I've actually kind of changed up the vendors that I've been looking at because then, is there a new brand that I don't know? But I just haven't really, I'm interested in, I would like a Shirogorov because I don't have one of those, those Russian ones. I don't have one of those, and I don't have, there might be some Japanese stuff I don't have. I saw a couple kitchen knives again today that I was interested in, but I keep watching it. I'll tell you what the problem is we're going through a phase, and I talked to you about this the other night.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, Bandit,
Does he not?
stop.
Get up.
You guys,
Go.
hey,
Get up.
go play.
Go somewhere else. It's a ball.
Is it really?
Yeah.
The knife industry has the same kind of thing that the guitar industry has, where there's a whole bunch of brands that basically come out of 6 main factories in China, and they're all super cool stuff. But after a while, you're just like, there's another titanium thing that costs $350, and it's from China, and it's got somebody's name on it, that who designed it, and it's just kind of all the same. So I kind of have been like blocking out that entire section, sort of like at NAMM show when you go to like, there's that whole section of all that stuff, and I just kind of block it out. So it really narrows down the stuff. There's a couple things I do want. I want an automatic hinderer because I don't have one of those. Yeah. There's a couple of vintage things I might be interested in too, actually.
So speaking of Robert, it doesn't say Robert. It definitely says Robot. Robot Shlomo says, when I was out in Colorado, all the antique stores were absolutely loaded with old knives. I've never looked at antique stores when I went to Colorado.
We should. That'd be
Never
cool.
thought of that.
Me either.
I never think to go in any when we travel. I don't know why.
We went in an antique store around here, and I'll just tell you the story. Okay.
Can I read this really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I'll miss it. Dog Dr. Tim wants to know, are you still doing the mystery boxes? If so, sign me up.
Oh, that's about time for the next one, ain't it?
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to write that down. Because it's April, right? It's May. Oh, crap. Maybe we'll just do one in June. It takes me a while to plan those and make those right. Okay. So all of you are, for those of you that follow the channel, you know that I'm into a lot of war history stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I like firearms and vintagey stuff and knives and blah, 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 all that. Over here, you can't see it off. It's off camera over here, but I've got a bunch of stuff. In fact, it came from one of you, sent me some stuff from the Soviet. I've got some stuff from the Soviet Union. I've got a whole bunch of, I like Cold War stuff. And I like World War II stuff. Any vintage war history related stuff. Really, really love it. Because I like to find out the stories behind it. And I really love that. So we're in an antique store here, and I was so conflicted about this. There was I don't think it was a combat dagger. I think it was probably a knife that was given as an award, or maybe basically it looked like a combat bayonet, but it was more like a letter opener, if that makes sense. And it was very, very old, and it wasn't very expensive, but it was definitely Nazi. It was definitely a Nazi item. It had the SS badges on it. It had a swastika on it. And it was not a piece of paraphernalia. It was not like at Nazistuff.com, like white supremacy stuff. It was like a legit thing from then. And I stood there and I looked at that thing for like 20 minutes and I'm like, I really, really want this for like the historical part of it. But do I want to be the guy that buys the Nazi thing? And I'm like, but I'm doing this museum sort of thing. Like I went through this whole thing and I ended up not buying it, but I was just like, and I still wonder if I should have, because that kind of stuff is, I'm obviously not commemorating anything that favors that. I just think it's cool to have the pieces of history. And I've got a North Korean fountain pen. I've got Soviet Union stuff. I'm like, I don't know why that's any different, but sometimes it just feels a little more icky. And I was like, oh, anyway, there's my almost bought a Nazi knife story.
A Prima Fiore says Manitou and Old Colorado City are full of shops with fun knives, not too far from Denver.
Oh yeah, we've been to Old Colorado City. We drove on that really skinny mountain top road thing. Yeah. Skyline Drive, that was called.
Yep, we have a video somewhere that terrifies people.
We have it on. It's on our other YouTube channel. Yep.
Jeffro490 said, you have a Mosin Nagant with a bayonet?
No, I want one. I had an opportunity to buy a Mosin Nagant, actually, and I was not in a position to buy it at the time. So, yeah. But.
David Richards said, I finished the Jack Carr Terminal List series. I am now on Clive Cussler's Oregon Files books. It's kind of a Mission Impossible inspired series. B+ for now.
I'm actually in the process of watching the Terminal List on Amazon right now. I'm like 4 episodes in. I've watched it before, but it's been so long.
And Robot Shlomo said the ones out near Fort Collins, which is total opposite direction.
North, yep.
I remember are really good. Some better than others, obviously.
Yeah.
Apparently I have a lot of coworkers in Denver too, because they keep meeting in Denver.
Oh.
Like next week they'll be in Denver. I'm like, why can't they meet when I'm there? And then I could like have free dinners. I could just show up. Anyway.
I mean, you're going to be there in a few weeks.
I know, but it's weirder if it's not a gathering and it's, I think it's mostly male engineers. So I'm not just going to go to dinner with them.
Right. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Kyle Ketchamonia said, I'm getting into collecting Civil War stuff.
Well, we're at the right place for that because the Civil War happened right here. I know someone who had spent a lot of time with a metal detector down by the Savannah River, and he's found all kinds of stuff. Helmets and all kind of stuff. Apparently, the clay that came from, so if you come here, if you're into Civil War history, you'll find it very interesting. Because if you come here, we have the powder mill for the Confederacy, where they made all of the ammunition for the Confederacy, is about 6 or 7 miles from here, right on the river. And it's all there still. It's like, there's some buildings probably that aren't, but the main huge building with the big stack and everything is all still there.
Wait, how far do you think it is from the river? It's on the canal.
Oh, it's on the canal.
When was the canal built? Before that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still there because Sherman never made it to Augusta.
That's right.
He got really close, but he never made it to Augusta.
General Sherman got within a few miles of Augusta, but he never crossed the river. Had he crossed the river, the entire armory, because about 4 or 5 miles from that, up on the hill, was the entire Civil War armory, like the whole Confederate armory. Was there, and then the training, like recruitment training barracks and everything was about 2 or 3 miles from that, which is Daniel Field. which is where that was. It's a civilian airport now, like a little private plane airport, but that's where that was. Yeah, all that stuff is here. We have a bridge that we drive over every time we go downtown that was built right then too. The Butt Bridge. What was the guy's name? His last name was Butt. But it's called the Butt Bridge. And it's this like really steep, not really intended for cars when it was built. Bridge, it goes like this, like really kind of crowns really high on the top. And it's got like, it's white with like big gold lions on it. Like it's very old fashioned.
Yeah. Doesn't fit in with the town at all.
No.
It's definitely a historic
No,
thing.
it's definitely not.
And you have to look when you go over it or your stomach drops.
Yeah, because it's like not.
That's still a question. Have we talked about that here?
What?
We've talked about that here, right? Like,
What?
do you get that sensation if you've never been on a roller coaster?
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
do?
Oh, yeah. I never was on a roller coaster until I was an adult.
So you had the same sensation when, like,
On roads. Like driving on roads.
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We used to have this County Road 545, and it was just these like rolling hills like this. And my dad used to do it on purpose. And we had a couple railroad crossings that did it too.
Kyle Ketchamonia, thank you for the super chat. He said, my family gave me shit because I want it all. Confederates and the North. I mean, it's all history.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. I like learning about it. I like learning about who the humans were. And I mean, I'm not going to have stars and bars on my wall or anything. Like I'm not one of those keep it alive people, but I do think it's important to learn about it.
Well, especially when you live here.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I have found educating myself on the Confederacy has helped me through some conversations. Like where it could have went a completely different way. And at least since I was informed, I was able to have an intelligent conversation and not a hateful one, if that makes sense. Like, or de-escalate a hateful one. Because I spent some time, learning about it enough to just to be informed. Yeah, to be informed. Because, that's one of those conversations could go crazy, especially because I'm Native American. Like that's a whole nother thing, layer to it. So to be able to have those conversations is good. Or, you got to have a little context and homework to have them.
How long you want to go?
Now it's fine if it's chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. I got a 5 Things Friday video coming out tomorrow. I only have 4 of them thought of, though. So I got to think about the 5th one.
Seems fair.
Yep. I'm going to shoot it in the morning. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you tomorrow.